Greetings, Helldivers. Today I will be discussing the predator strain, their tactics, what to look for when trying to identify where they are, and my own experience with them and how I deal with them. Enjoy. When you think about predator strain, what probably comes to mind is, Jesus Christ, they won't stop coming! Holy shit, help me! And while yes, that may be the case in situations where you're on low on ammo or a poorly built loadout, I find with the right preparation and caution when taking care of these bugs will help you succeed in most missions. Now, my philosophy when fighting the predator strain tournaments is keep shooting, listen, don't stop shooting, look around. I didn't say stop shooting, and keep shooting everything that slightly resembles a bug. Now, when it comes to predator strain tournaments, they usually make like these little clicking noises to let you know that they're there, or they'll have like these silhouettes around them when they're invisible.
You will never destroy our way of life!
But now that you know how to look for them, how do you deal with them? Well, in my opinion, good options in terms of primaries are shotguns or weapons that can deal stun, like Halt, ARC-12 Blitzer, or the Pacifier. Each one of these primaries provides some set of advantages and disadvantages for you to work with. For example, the Blitzer is an electric shotgun that can stun multiple enemies at a time, with the caveat that it sometimes might misfire, or you may not deal enough damage to take them out, and have to shoot them a few more times. While I think something like the Blitzer is a good weapon on its own, what could help it in this hypothetical situation is if you had a guard dog, bullet, or dog breath, which could incapacitate or finish off the enemies that you couldn't kill. That's why Predator Strain is difficult for most players, including myself. You simply either rush in or bring stuff that's more centered around anti-tank options to the heavies, and while yes, it's good to have anti-tank coverage, it's even more important to be able to handle yourself on your own when faced with patrol, instead of crumbling under the pressure and acid of this strain. But since most people have been playing this game for a long time, you may not have an issue with this because you are just simply way too experienced with the game. I'd say if you were one of the new recruits, I think running something like the Punisher or its medium pen version with the base guard dog would be an effective way to deal with the predator strain because you can stagger them and you have your guard dog to finish them off. But for those of you who aren't and have access to most of the war bonds, here's my method of dealing with them. For this build, you are going to need two war bonds, Democratic Detonation and Viper Commandos. But let's discuss what we need from Democratic Detonation first. Democratic Detonation is a warband that offers a plethora of powerful weapons and items, but the two things we are looking for are the R36 Eruptor and Thermites. The Eruptor is a heavy penetrating explosive weapon that is good at clearing grouped up enemies or those with latent weaknesses that we can exploit. But another thing you can utilize with the Eruptor is its explosive power. Since it can pop ballast spewers like party balloons, you can use it to blow up big bug holes from a pretty significant distance, while also using it as a party popper. Now the second thing we need is the Thermite. But since we already have the Eruptor for bug holes, why not just put something random in our grenade slot? Well, the Thermite is a sticky grenade that deals anti-tank damage over time, and then does a big explosive pop-up damage when it explodes. This is extremely useful because even if we run out of anti-tank options like EAT or Commando, we can still use this Thermite. Toss, but don't forget. Now for Viper Commandos. The Viper Commandos warband holds some pretty good items, but we only need two from here. One of the things that makes this warband A tier in my opinion is its armor. With a light and heavy version, these armors hold the passive Peak Physique, which has the effect of giving you better handling of your weapons, aka ergonomics, and extra melee damage, making this an extremely powerful and valuable armor for most builds. Now for the second thing we need, which is a secondary, the SG-22 Bushwhacker. The Bushwhacker is essentially a mini shotgun that you can carry around, and can switch between its only firing one barrel at a time, for smaller enemies to all three, creating a volley, which is useful for tanker enemies with bigger health pools like Predator Stalkers. It also staggers them, so this is a valuable tool for holding them off. But now that we have the basic build ready, let's talk about stratagems. For a support weapon, I'll be using the Stalwart, a light machine gun that's useful for enemies with light penetration armor or ones with big weak spots. For a backpack slot, I'll bring the AXAR Guard Dog for fire support when I'm away from my team and covering fire for reloads. Now since Impalers, Chargers, and Biotitans exist, I'll be bringing the Commando, a stratagem that had its blueprints recovered from the planet X-45 when we were trying to uncover the blueprints for the DSS, Democracy's Marvel. And lastly, For Bile-Titan holes and overwhelming bug breaches, I'll bring the 500 kilogram bomb. Remember, the Eagle pilot isn't competent, your throwing is. When it comes to the DSS, however, never mind. With that out the way, we are prepared for the xenomorph wannabes known as the Predator strain, and there is a reason for their name. They are a sickness, a scourge, one that must be cleansed by democracy's expert exterminators, the Helldivers. Am I done? Wait. Oh, cut!